But I also feel like she she sold herself short and just disappointed me so much. And yeah, that's why I don't like the male character, the male main character here. And you can't call me out for that. I will still stand by my thoughts. He's finally going home. Okay, we're in the last stretch. Oh my gosh. This is the first part of the last chapter. It's just literally the opening first. Someone help! She had to end it with Hosea. Of course she had. Hello! Welcome back to my channel. It's me, Shane. And today I'm starting a reading vlog. And currently I'm reading Ravishing the Heiress by Sherry Thomas. And guys, the angst, it's crazy. Like, it's so emotionally taxing, and I hate it. I hate feeling like this because my emotional capability is not great, and I'm so sorry that there's so much noise outside. There's construction happening across the building, and that's what you're hearing. If you're hearing a man like shouting or like anything that sounds like the end of the world, that's what it is. So I'm gonna tell you about the Ravishing the Heiress. It's a past-present kind of POV wherein there's dual timelines basically, and you go back and forth from that. And usually those timelines are the ones that, or that kind of structure in a story, are the ones that are way too gripping for me. And those types of books are usually the ones that I can't help but not put down. Examples would be All Your Perfects by Colleen Hoover and Love in Other Words by Christina Lauren. So it's been a while since I've read something like this of structure. I don't know if I like it. I don't know if I'm not excited, but it says something about it that I cannot put it down. I started this book 5 p.m. and it's 8 p.m. and I'm already more than halfway. Yeah, so I'm so frustrated, and I was supposed to have dinner at 6 p.m. but now it's 8 p.m. and I have not had dinner yet. So I'm gonna eat first, just cool down, cool my emotions down, and finish the book, and I'm gonna get back to you later. You can also look, I stumbled upon a playlist of an orchestral pop playlist of Taylor Swift songs, and can I just say, I love putting on any Taylor Swift song in the background when I read historical romance. It's so fitting, it's so perfect. Oh, reporting back, it's already 10:40 and I finished the book around 10 to 15 minutes ago. And a few thoughts come into mind. Number one is, it went as I expected it to go. It's a disappointment on my part because I expected so much, because there was so much praise and hype with this book, and it's really one of the most popular recommended books when you want to dive into historical romance. And yeah, I think I was just really disappointed with the start and how it resolved itself. So yes. And secondly would be, can I just point out that I hated the fact that there was not even a part or a scene or anything that connotes wherein he pursued her. Normally, I like my male main characters to have somewhat of an action, some form of pursuit, and I did not like the fact that the guy was so passive here. And I mean, yes, he did show pining somewhat, but yeah, again, I understand that it's not really a fall in love from the start, and there was a love triangle in here, and there was like adultery involved, and I just did not see how he made it up to her, like after all those years. Parang it never even occurred to him to understand from her point of view, watching him for 8 years just pounce and move on from woman to woman, having another girl in his heart, and her being so helplessly in love with him all this time. And the lack of compassion and just the lack of consideration and understanding on his part in the end just disappointed me so much. And yeah, that's why I don't like the male character, the male main character here. And you can't call me out for that. I will still stand by my thoughts. Yeah. And another thing would be, I think this is a series, if I'm not mistaken. So maybe their story spans out a bit. You get to, hopefully, I get to see glimpses of what happened to them if I do continue the series. But I hold this book with such low regard that I don't know if I want to continue it. So hey guys, it's the next day. And okay, so yesterday with Ravishing the Heiress, I was pretty clear and just honestly honest about my thoughts on it. And I tried rereading some parts today because my mind is still kind of trying to process what happened in the story, and I still stand by my thoughts and what they said last night. As much as I really wanted to like it, and I still really commend the female lead there, Millie, and she is amazing. But I also feel like she sold herself short, and it felt like she was settling for less. And I'm so sorry for the background noise again. Today, I'm just gonna finish some errands. It's actually already almost 2 p.m. I woke up at around 11:30 because I slept so late last night. And yeah, and hopefully today I'll be able to read earlier. So I'll catch up to you guys later when I do start the book. Update, I'm so sorry. Maingay sa labas. Pero I did not push through with Eden Brook last night. What I started reading instead was Redeeming Love by Francine. And I don't know, I was just in a position wherein I wanted something more Christian to read. So, and since I'm in my historical romance phase, I thought that it's time to read this. I've had this in my TBR since last year, and we're finally moving forward. I'm 100 pages in, and there are like a bit of tabs already in here. I didn't want to highlight or underline stuff, so I just use tabs instead ngayon. Yeah, I've been enjoying it. It's kind of slow paced in a sense, but the prologue pa lang, it really broke me. And if you've read this, you know. And trigger warning, if you are planning to read this, there's so much dark issues related and part of this story. So it deals with prostitution, it deals with rape, it also deals with just being unloved and abuse, verbal abuse, physical abuse. It's been so compelling to read, and I cannot help but be so in awe. And it makes me want to revisit the book of Hosea, probably after I read this. And yes, if you don't know Redeeming Love, well, yes, it's deemed as a Christian fiction. It's a historical romance, but it's a retelling. It's inspired by the story of Hosea and Gomer from the Bible. And I'm gonna update you guys when I do finish this. Hopefully, I finish this before I fly for Hong Kong next week. I'm planning to do that because I don't want to bring this. Hey guys, so update. I'm on page 295 with Redeeming Love. And I plan to finish siguro at 100 more pages for this one so that tomorrow we can finish the whole book. And spoiler alert, so if you're gonna read this book, you can just skip this part. But I just wanna lay down my thoughts so far because she's basically unraveled everything that she has experienced in her life. As I've said, this is inspired by Hosea and Gomer's story. So, gist of what their story is about, Hosea is a prophet called by God to marry Gomer. Gomer is a prostitute. And when Hosea finally marries Gomer, even in their marriage, Gomer kept leaving him. She kept escaping him, and it got to a point wherein Gomer got pregnant even by another man's child while they were married. And yun nga, if I remember correctly, there was also a time wherein Hosea had to pick up his wife from another, from a room. I don't know if it's a house of that man, but Hosea had to pick up his wife while his wife was in bed with another man. And I love this because it doesn't portray that Christians are always so loving, that it's easy for us to forgive people, or it's easy for us to love, to choose to love. Even in here, it just portrays the thoughts of the male lead. So the male lead is named Michael Hosea. The female lead here is named Sarah. Pero she goes by a lot of names. So she goes by Angel, she goes by Mara, Tirza, Amanda. Michael Hosea, you get to hear and you get to see his thoughts and how he's battling, just loving, choosing to love Angel, even when she keeps escaping him, even when all the guy has done is love her, take care of her, be patient with her, try to open her up. And I just love how real it is, because I don't know where people get the idea that Christians are perfect, or Christians will always be nice, or Christians should be pushovers, and it's always rainbows and unicorns, and it's always just good stuff here. And hindi po. We're also people, we're also humans, and I just love that it's real. It's real that, it can be annoying, that you can be mad, that you can be driven to a corner when you love someone and when they don't love you back, even if all you've done for them is just be good to them, be there for them, and just give your best and be there. And at the end of the day, you're still faced with the rejection, you're still faced with love not being reciprocated, and with all the efforts that you've done, it's not always a guarantee that it will be reciprocated, or that you will succeed in entering their lives and entering their heart, and that relationship blossoming into something that is good, something that is mutual, something that is real. And it's so hard, especially in this case, because they're husband and wife. And Michael also, syempre may needs din siya, no? Michael is also a man, so he also has these urges, physical urges and physical desires, to love his wife, to make love to her. But he has to teach her how to disassociate having sex, since she's a prostitute and that's what she did for a living in the past, and disassociating that from making love. Not just that, but also allowing Angel to move past her traumas, not just move past, but also forgive and allow herself to be accepted and be loved and feel like she's not a mistake, and own up to that identity. And up until now, she's still not in a good place, and she's escaped her husband twice. And honestly, I'm at a point wherein, why? It's getting good, you guys are getting along, you're starting to open up, you're starting to get healed, and then she escapes, she leaves him. And that's the thing, because sometimes we think that healing and feeling love, they're all great. Like, they're all great feelings when you're used to them. But when you're not used to them, like when someone disrupts your life and starts telling you that you are loved, that you matter, that I want to love you, that I want to be in your life, and that's new to you, because all you've known is that you're worthless, or that you're a mistake, or that you're not worthy to be loved, you're not worthy to be fought for, it rattles your mind and it makes you scared, because that's a new thing. And not just uncertainty, but because it kind of propels you to open up. It propels you to be shiny. It propels you to be who you are. It propels you to move with confidence and live secured. And that's a scary thing when that's something you're not used to. And when things happen in our lives and when we start to change and when we start to get healed and restored and become whole, it's a scary process. It's not always a happy, joyful, exciting process for everybody. That sometimes because change can be uncomfortable, and even if it's good, it doesn't always mean that we can't feel discomfort while we're experiencing it. And yeah, I think this just allows me to really see humans, really see people, and break my heart for them and what they're doing, and with what they're going through, and what they think, and why they react the way they do. And I just love that I was able to stumble upon this. Yeah, so I think I was just really sad. Again, if you're still here, you're listening to this, that means you don't mind getting spoiled. And basically what has happened with Angel, her past covers verbal abuse, physical abuse, prostitution, rape, and it's so dark. It's so dark because she was raped at 8 years old. I'm gonna cry. She was raped at 8 years old by a duke. It's because he has this fetish with young girls. So, sadly, at 8 years old, Angel was an orphan. Sarah or Angel was an orphan because her mom died. And she is left with her mom's lover. And her mom's lover is a drunk. So, that man has no wits on what to do with the girl, and he doesn't know that he gave her up to someone who will rape her, who will prostitute her. And all he knows is that the duke wants the little girl, and he thinks that he's relieved that the girl will be fed for, will be taken care of, especially he's a duke. So things went south real bad and real quickly. So by that point, Angel was raped, and she was, in a sense, trained to be a prostitute. And it got so dark because at 16, she was still working for the duke. And basically, the duke has impregnated her twice by that point, if I'm not mistaken. And the duke brings Angel's father. So Angel's father is someone who abandoned her because Angel was the child out of wedlock. So she's not accepted and she's thrown away. And at 16, she rekindles with her dad, but her dad, I think, does not recognize her. And her dad beds her. And while they're in bed, she reveals to him that she's his child and that everything that basically happened to her mom as well. And not only that, after a few years, she gets to escape the duke, and she goes to someone called the Duchess naman. So the Duchess is like the head of a brothel place, and she works her there. And she meets this bodyguard of a man called Magowan, and Magowan continually physically abuses Angel, and not just physically, I think sexually as well, and verbally. And all he's been doing is waiting for the Duchess to throw Angel away so that he can be the so-called knight to take care of Angel for the rest of her life and make her his wife and beat her up and sexually abuse her and physically abuse her. And yeah, so basically that's the life that Angel had in the past. And then she stumbles upon Michael Hosea because Michael Hosea sees her, like out of just nowhere. She's in her walks, one of her afternoon walks or morning walks, and Michael Hosea sees her, and God immediately tells Michael that she's the one you're supposed to marry, and the story transpires from there. Yeah, I'm not frustrated because in this picture, I'm Angel, I'm Sarah, and Michael is God. And I've ran from God more than Angel has from Michael. And I cannot be frustrated because I get convicted that that's me, and I don't want to miss out on the book. I don't want to miss out on the romance, but I also just don't want to miss out the picture of love that it wants to depict to the readers, on how, no matter how persistent you are to be hard-hearted, and no matter how much you want to push God away and not let him in and not let his people in and not let love in, God will continually persist. God will continually be recklessly in love with you and choose you and be there for you and want to fight you, even if it hurts him, even when it hurts him. And he will choose to go back for you. He will choose to continually pursue you, even when you run away. And even when you keep running away. It's probably one of the best reminders of love. Because to be honest, I got so sick with historical romances because it felt like there was a pattern that I was seeing already, and it kind of got boring by that point. But this one, it's different, and I love it. And yeah, I'm gonna update you guys when I do finish it tomorrow. Good night. Oh my god. This is so bad. Guys, oh my god. Hear this. God, was I wrong? Should I go back? How can I face him again after all this time? How can I see him and walk away again? What do you want me to do? I know what I want. Oh God, I know. But what do you want me to do? For Angel to come to a place like this? My gosh, the development, the humility, the self-sacrifice, the death to self, really. It's just, this book is amazing and I love it with all my heart. He's finally going home. Okay, we're in the last stretch. Oh my gosh. I'm just in the first part of the last chapter. It's just literally the opening verse. Someone help. Oh my gosh. She had to end it with Hosea. Of course she had. God is so good, guys. God is so good. God is so good. Ah. Oh my gosh. I'm in the epilogue. Oh my gosh. I cannot. Hello. Okay, so I finally finished Redeeming Love, and it was so beautiful, guys. The romance is great, but that's not what that's not what kept me reading this. Honestly, it was so hard to get into. It was so wordy. It could have been shorter. I wished it was, but I also wouldn't have been so frustrated with wanting her to develop, with getting to just that character development part. And I think just the stretching out of the story allowed me to appreciate all the more how much the female lead grew. And also just the beauty and the strength and the patience and just the amazingness of the male lead as well. The male lead here is portrayed first as supposedly the savior, But I think that as the story progressed, it also showed that people will fail us. People cannot fill the hole or be everything we want them to be, or expect them to reach a standard that is only for God to fill in our hearts. I think that showed how while people may bring some healing in our lives, they cannot fully heal us, they cannot fully save us, they cannot fully be the ones that fill that hole inside our hearts. And yeah, so I just really loved how, as the story progressed, she also grew as her own person. She also grew more than a wife, more than someone moving past prostitution and sexual abuse. She became her own woman. She became God's daughter. She knew who she was. She overcame shame. She overcame guilt. She overcame. And she just exuded so much grace. It wasn't pride that held her up. At first, it was. That's sometimes arrogance and pride, and, that fake it till, I swear, that fake it till you make it kind of mentality is sometimes the only thing that can hold us up. But in here, she was able to move past that and grow from that, and turn that fake confidence into grace that carries her and allows her and propels that a new type of confidence in her life. Yeah, I just loved it, and I was sad with the epilogue because it's a different type of epilogue from what I've been reading so far. Because normally in the epilogues, I would just find that they lived happily ever after, or they got married and had kids, and they continue on with their lives. But this, it really capped off their stories, their lives. It really gave just an overview of what transpired afterwards until their deathbeds. And yeah, it was kind of morbid in the last part, but I still just appreciate how I think the author just wanted a full circle moment. I think the author just wanted us to see how God holds the entirety of our lives, and how our time here on earth is so short compared to the grand scheme of things. And yeah, it's bittersweet, but I genuinely just enjoyed it. Bittersweet the ending because they died, but we all die at some point. And Redeeming Love, guys, by Francine Rivers. Thank you for watching. I don't know how long this vlog will be, but I think it's spanned for 4 or 5 days. And tomorrow, I have a flight for Hong Kong at dawn, and I have to sleep because it's 5 p.m. and I have to leave at 3 a.m. just to, be proper and be on time and be accepted sa immigration. So anyways, I did hope you enjoyed this video. I will see you again next time. Thank you for watching. Goodbye, guys.